Cool. Um, so here we are, December, what is it? What is it today? December 29th?
Third. Oh yeah.
No,
It's the
30th.
30th. 30th. Yeah.
30th, 30th. Yeah, we're one day. We're New Year's Eve Eve. Oh my God. New Year's Eve Eve. Um, and so tonight's topic was all about planning a trip. So how we at Progression Sessions, how we plan the sessions we do, all the way to tricks and tips and everything else like that if you're deciding to plan your own trip. Um, As far as preparation, there's no worksheet tonight. There's no nothing like that. It's kind of open Q&A and just seeing where we take it, and if we take it anywhere. So I guess before I bounce into a bunch of content and I try to make something happen here, I'll leave it to you guys to start me off with some questions. Does anybody have any questions? Any things that they're like trying to plan? Anything you're trying to do? Anything that might kick us off in a direction?
Hmm.
You should
Yeah. My
already deep
direction.
into it.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I want, yeah. No, please go, Craig. I have nothing to say.
I'm not quite on that same path, but that's why I joined though, because I'm super interested in this path. But just to give you a heads up too, that I'm curious over the course of this season on these sessions, and I've started sharing these as well. I'm assistant coaching our high school snowboard team, and I thought, wow, get these minds connected. Maybe I can help influence the kids on the
Yeah.
team. So, anyways, just to know my point of view, not only do I love going and doing stuff with progression sessions, but I've also now got this lens of, how can I be a good snowboard team coach too? So I'm kind of trying to think in those ways too. I don't know how that ties into
No, it
planning
does.
and
It totally
planning.
does.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's good. It's so that ideally, one of the things that we do in our workshops, and it does actually tie in perfectly. It ties in perfectly. So, one of the things we do in our workshops is a lot of our workshops we take what's called the Y model. So the Y model would be like it kind of looks like a martini glass. It's pretty fun. But if you imagine the base of a martini glass, right? It's got a little flat part right there, and so those are kind of like your fundamentals, right? So that would be like how your body moves along the like with the snowboard, right? Like knowing how to move right to left or nose to tail, knowing how to move toe to heel and stay balanced, how to lift the thing off the ground, those kind of things, right? So that's kind of your fundamentals. And as it goes up the stem of the martini glass, if you can imagine this, I should have an image, but you're just gonna have to go with me. It's kind of like your turns and stuff. But then the really cool thing that the Y model does is it branches off into a lot of directions. And so it branches off into kind of like free ride, freestyle, um, like race and stuff, carving and racing and whatnot, right? And the thing that I love about this Y model, and the reason I'm bringing it up, it sounds super nerdy for me to do, but if you think about a snowboarder that's like able to like make turns on a blue run, like ta-da, you did it. You can like go left and right and navigate your own life on a blue run. Well, all of a sudden you've opened up to like, well, what's next? Do I go to a steeper run? Do I go faster on a blue run? Do I go off a jump? Like, do I ride by trees? Like, what can I do? And the coolest thing about the Y model is that like it has this like free ride thing, freestyle. So free ride being like think about trees and moguls and steeps and stuff. And that as you get better at one thing, essentially those skills transfer all the way across. So if it's a Y and I get a little bit better in like riding moguls, like all of a sudden I'm pretty good at riding moguls. Well, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to have a lot of applicable skills from riding moguls that you can transfer over to like nailing a straight air and an indie grab or being able to like rip into a carve because you're able to like have independent movement of your upper and lower body that you gain from riding moguls. Does that sort of make sense?
Mhm.
And I really, really love it. And so if you're thinking about coaching your athletes, one of the places that I've seen a lot of like coaches go and they start to pigeonhole their athletes is that they'll go in just one direction of this Y model. So if they're freestyle coaches, they'll focus solely on freestyle. And eventually what happens is you hit some place in like somebody's progression, like say they're working from a 180 to a 360, right? And there's just not a speed threshold. There is something about that transition from 180 to 360 where it's just gonna take time and it starts to feel stuck. And when they feel stuck, all of a sudden that progression, that energy behind progression isn't forward momentum, but sometimes hitting the wall becomes backward momentum. And so that athlete doesn't perform as well as they may if they were like feeling progression in some other environment, right? So like they start to second guess their movements, they start to second guess their athleticism, they start to second guess themselves as a rider, and it starts to stall progression. Now, if you can look at the Y model and think like, okay, what are those necessary skills that they're working on towards a jump, and how can I like take that skill from into carving, wherever they are in carving, and can we just get rad on some carbs and just make a reason to get rad on carbs, even though they're maybe a 360 something they got to get. Can we just get rad on carbs for a while? And if you can connect the connection between what they learn in carbs to how that's going to benefit them on a 360, you've got somebody that's continuing to have forward momentum. And I think that that's something that like often really strong coaches will forget because they'll get so pigeonholed. They'll be in this like mindset with their student. And I've done it too, where I'm like, we're so close. If you could just get this movement, we could succeed and it would be amazing. And and we forget that there's a whole plethora of ways to build that same skill without necessarily having to tackle whatever that emotional, physical, or environmental demon might be, that hurdle. We can get there the same way somewhere else. And so when it comes to our sessions, sorry, I'm just about to get off my soapbox. I know this was a lot of absorption from you guys. I appreciate it. But I'll get off my soapbox. When it comes to our sessions though, so we have like kind of our four paths of progression that we have in progression sessions in our workshops. We have our foundations, which is like think of the base of the martini glass. We have our freestyle stuff, we have our free ride stuff, and we have our carving stuff. And so you'll see like free ride or off-piste 1.0, 2.0, carving 1.0, 2.0, and freestyle 1.0, 2.0. And then we have camps that support that. So we have like our Utah camp and our Japan camp and our Chile camps for like free riding. We have like our freestyle camps at Hood that are the next level. And we have all this stuff, the foundations. We have like our instructor camps and stuff like that kind of build up. And so like we've done the same thing in our entire calendar is based around this Y model. And it's based around like even if you're doing like freestyle 1.0 and you want to jump into carving 2.0, like those skills are transferable. You can bounce around, but ideally there's forward momentum. And and I think it's pretty good. So sorry, there's my soapbox. You can send it back at me.
This is kind of meta, but I'm just struck by how all these models we use in snow sports education, they can be so useful for structuring so many things to do with it. So you're telling us that you're giving us sort of a sneak peek or lifting the veil, and showing us something about the background structure for progression sessions. And it comes right out of our, among other places, our snowboard technical manual, which
It
is
does,
cool.
it does. It comes right out of the technical manual. Yeah, yeah. It's a really powerful model, and I feel like it's really it's important to like raise the tide, you know, along a lot of ways. And I think there's another one too there that's really kind of cool. If I'm gonna carry on, I'm talking, so I'm gonna carry on. Is one of the other tenets with progression sessions that's a big part of what we do is we do community, right? So we try to like build events that where you like have to live together, you have to share experiences. We put you in places where everybody has to get challenged and uncomfortable so we can see the other side of it. Like that's intentional. It's intentional and it's intentional like for instance, one of the things we do in our Japan trips is we always add new locations that we've never been to. And we do that. So not only are the candidates, are not the candidates, sorry, that's the wrong word. The participants, candidates is an ASI thing, sorry. The participants, the people coming to the session are like, wow, this is new. But it's also so the coaches are like, oh, this is new. And we all get like, not the whole thing, but a little bit. We get to share that experience of like, wow, this is new and and that power of experiencing something for the first time together, regardless of like how you ended up in this place, helps build community because you have a memory that like only that is unique to you and is unique to everyone else, and the only time like that memory is yours and the other people that you shared it with. It doesn't belong to anyone else. It belongs to you and them. And like the power of being able to share that memory, that event, that's community. And that community is also motivating. And so like I think that when it comes to um when I think about like some of the things that I got from AASI, they're like a big part of it, right? Like the instructor community, but not only that, like the thinking about a person. One of the things that's so unique to AASI is like that student-centered teaching model that we have, right? Seems super dorky, right? It's like three triangles and a circle, and it's dumb. It's when you look at it like that, it's like very corporate. But in the middle is a person. It's a real person, like student profile, right? And you got these skills, you have teaching skills, people skills, and technical skills that you surround that person with. And but the thing that like really got me about that model is the middle of it is still a person, and we're all unique, and there's people skills that go, and those if you're a unique human, not just like a computer that you would feed information at, that there would be unique things that you would reference as far as like things that would motivate you, would push you forward. And so a big part of what we do is when we think about communities, we try to create space for unique experiences for every single person to share in that event. So that way, it's motivation, it's memory, it's motivation. I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting down a rabbit hole that I can't quite explain, but I'm really excited about.
Well, I'd love to jump in here. So when you were talking
Yeah.
about um, building a community and having that sort of be forced on clients who participate in a camp, which is an experience I've had. I've been a paying client at progression sessions a number of times. When you're talking about community, it made me think of Maslow's hierarchy and belonging, right? So Maslow's hierarchy is, we know
Yeah.
we use it. It's a model that we try to keep in mind, or when we're teaching, or at least when we're training, so that it's automatic. We want to meet the needs of our clients, our students, our athletes. And so we want to make sure their physiological needs are met. We want to make sure their safety needs are met. We want to make sure that we cultivate a feeling of belonging. Of course, if someone doesn't feel like they are in the right place, or don't belong in a group, or don't belong with you, their coach or instructor, they're not going to, it's highly unlikely they're going to be able to learn. And then we could go up higher on the hierarchy, right? Self-esteem, and then self-actualization, which we could just simplify and just call learning. Um, when you're talking about building of community at your camps thing, but you're making it happen. You're making those needs be met. If you build a sense of community, you now have a sense of belonging, and we're that much closer to being able to succeed at the learning phase,
Well,
the
I think
learning.
the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it goes in kind of two directions, right? So like if you have this sense of community where you've done something that's new to everyone, right? It's new to everyone, and it puts everyone in a place where they have to rely, they have to trust each other, they have to like not just trust their coach, but also like own some responsibility of what's going to happen that day. So we have to kind of trust each other. There's an exchange there. I feel like it takes the lower layers and the upper layers and it like supports those things, right? So like when it comes to your needs of safety being met or your physiological needs, right? Like all of a sudden, if it's a coach and you, and the coach has done this 100,000 times and you're brand new to us, well, it's a one-way exchange, right? You're a coach, whatever you're doing, you're fine. And I need you to meet my needs, right? Now, if you're a community and you're doing something for the first time, there is this element of like, there is experience for sure and for sure. And the people that have more experience are definitely the ones probably driving the bulk of the decision making and are driving the bulk of the responsibility. However, there is some potential for some shared, especially if the coaches can open up to it, some shared like responsibility for the lower parts of the needs and the upper parts, right? But the lower parts. And I found some great power in some of our sessions where, I mean, I've learned so much from the people that have come to attend, and I've been, in some ways, my bacon has been saved out of some relatively funny situations. I can speak about one we did in Chile. And I was in Chile this last summer. I was riding with two friends, and the storm had come in, and I have all my topographical maps. I have all the knowledge. Like I have all the knowledge. I know where I'm at. I've been there a bunch of times, and I know where the levels of what's up and down and stuff. But anyways, this big storm comes in. It goes white on white on white. CMAC, you're part of this. And it goes white on white on white. And
Yeah, now, I just remembered now that you
yeah. And so we're out and there's no trees, there's no nothing in Tres Valles. There's no nothing. And so I'm with two friends who I trust, but I am still the one in charge and they are still paying for this experience, right? And so, but we're experiencing something brand new together. At this moment, this is brand new. I've never been here with this condition before in my life with these people, and it's brand new. And so we ride through this sea of muck, this sea of like clouds and stuff like that. And like I have to lead, but I can't get further than like, a couple of arms width apart or arms lengths apart because they're not going to be able to see me. So it's really slow. We drop elevation and we end up at the bottom of the lift that I'm hoping is going to be running, but it's not. We get there, this lift is not running. There is no way home. So they shut the lifts down. As much as you check your phone and stuff like that, it's South America. So sometimes they tell you, sometimes they don't. It's just is. It is. It is. And so we get to the bottom of this lift, and so I look at my dudes and I have all the topographical maps. I have everything. Like I can figure out where we are and I can save us. I know where the road is. I know where buildings would be that would have humans in them. Like I can save us. Um, but one of my students is like, well, hey, so we try to call like the phone thing at the bottom of the lift. That's not going to work. And he's like, you know what? We use slopes. Me and my other friend here, we've been using slopes. We've been tracking our runs all day, and we've been tracking the way that we go on other runs. And so we look at slopes, and albeit it doesn't need any like internet thing. Like once it's there, it's on the map. It's on the map. Like once it's been to your phone, it's downloaded or whatever, right? And so he shows me the two slopes, and with their information and with my information, I was able to like actually get us relatively quickly to some place with other humans on a chairlift. We're having fun again, and then call up CMAC, and he has a friend in a neighboring town that's going to come pick us up and get us home. Thank you, CMAC. So we're able to like get a ride. But the really cool part of that was like in that moment, I got to share this experience with a couple of participants that are friends, but also participants that are paying me to be their guide. And they were able to share information with me that helped me do my job better than I ever thought I would be able to do it. I'm using archaic things and they share something brand new with me. And with the two of us together, we're able to get out of this sticky situation. Never would have happened if the situation wouldn't have happened. And forever, like I'm a better coach because of the stuff my students taught me. And I told them that, and I hope that they know that. Like, I really value them. Um, but kind of goes with that Maslow's hierarchy of needs too. There's this part of belonging where, like, in that moment, because of that exchange, we became like the relationship that we had became a different relationship. And I think it's so, so powerful. Um, and if we can like if it's like so Craig, you're striving with your students and I'm not take your kids out to like some sketchy situation, get them stuck in a creek and see if they'll throw you a life raft. Like don't do that. But um but I'm saying like when it comes to coaching and guiding your riders, like the more um the more you can open yourself up to learn from them and not try to fully hold the responsibility of everything. And I was like, in this situation in Chile, I was so nervous that I had totally screwed up and they were going to be totally terrified and we were not going to get out of this. I was so terrified that was going to happen. And then my riders both told me, they're like, dude, weather happens. We trust you, but we're also in this with you. Like they calmed me down and brought me back to the thing that we're sharing this. And I think that with your students, if you can put yourself in a place to share their learning and share that experience and share some of those like, rises and falls, um, you're going to have a lot more powerful relationship as it pertains to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Right? So Yeah, that's cool. Thank you, Tyrus. There's my next soapbox. Anybody else want to turn?
I do have a thought around that, like making
Yeah.
those memories. Not, not in a way of me coaching or anything, but just being on a trip last March, um, with some friends and leaving, the weather came in and it was kind of locking us in, so we weren't going to be able to get out, to have to fly out. And I remember joking with the guide. I'm like, "Oh, maybe we get to ride a boat. We're gonna go for a boat ride today. Have you guys ever not been able to get out of here?" And it turned out this was like one of the first time in, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years where they couldn't fly out. So we got to go for an off-road ride through the mud down a road, get into some side by sides, and then take a boat across a lake. And I was so
No
stoked.
way.
I was like, this is, I mean, the trip itself was pretty epic, but I was like, this is so special. I got to like hop in these little side by side with some guides, and everybody's throwing boards into a back of a pickup truck. And but yeah, I think when you face some of those challenges like that, it makes meaningful memories. I
Where
can
was
imagine
this?
in Nilson at Baldface.
Okay,
Uh,
okay, cool.
yeah, it was really made for a great end. We got to leave on a muddy off-roading trip instead of flying back down to the airport.
Mm.
But the guys were kind of bummed when I was joking with them and saying that, this is gonna be fun. He's like, don't say it, don't say it. I don't They were really hoping it didn't happen, but I was kind of happy we got a special treat.
Oh my gosh. I remember one of those with CMAC. And CMAC, you remember this one. We were stuck up in Washington and we had a storm come
Oh,
in Washington and it like knocked the power out. There was avalanches on the freeway and stuff like that.
oh,
Like we couldn't leave. We couldn't leave. We're at Snoqualmie Pass and we're stuck. We're stuck in a baller house. So like stuck is a relative term. We had great food. We had a great house. We just didn't have any power. We had no internet or anything like that. Like
yeah.
you could get off your phones, right? And so, and I remember being up there and it was this mixed feelings of like, is this a blessing or is this a curse, right? Like, are we stuck up here or are we like blessed to be up here with our friends in this situation where we like get to cook outside and stuff like that? And some of us felt a lot of different ways about it, but there was one night of the whole thing where we shared like, we're blessed. And it was, you remember what it was?
The night when we were
Yeah.
playing that board game, that was
Yes,
memorable.
yes. That was the night. That was the night. It was obvious that everybody was like, yeah, we're blessed.
Yeah. It felt, we were isolated because the road was closed. And yeah, that's an interesting feeling to be isolated, but with people that you like and you get along with, and you just go with the flow. Like we went to the brewery there, right? They had power, so that was kind of fun. We were able to check emails and stuff like that, and then go back to our house, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Craig. We're kind of going down a wormhole here, but let's navigate it on back to you've got some thoughts, and maybe if anybody else does, Sue or Tyrus or CMAC or anything, um, when it comes to coaching or anything that we can do to help, ask away. Any other thoughts or
What is the I since we did go different way, what what focus do we have right now?
we don't. We don't. It's Q&A. We start out with how we build sessions, right? And so
Oh
like if
yeah,
there were
that's
people
right.
that had
Okay.
like ideas, that there were people that had ideas about like or wanted to know how like we build a session in Japan or in South
Yeah.
America or in Utah or whatever. Like I have loads of lines of speak and information on that, but really
Yeah.
like we're the ones in the call, so something I can do to help you out.
So
Go for it.
I've done sessions with you, and you've organized it. So I have a script to follow. When I have done some smaller things on my own, um, it has been very open minded. I would cater it or design it based on on what the possible participants want to achieve, right? Do they just want to get guided and learn about the culture and be in a new environment and have somebody kind of hold their hands through that, or are they really interested in? I'm a skier, so it would be like a PSIA certification, a combination of those things. So I kind of listen in and say, yeah, we can do that. Do you have enough people, similar needs? We can put something together. So that I try to build it organically a little bit also.
Yeah, yeah. I think that there's a creating space for that regardless of what you're planning, right? Like that's definitely having some space for something organic to happen. That's something I've learned over time.
Yeah.
I came from a background where like we would at High Cascade when I was working there, gosh, we'd plan everything. We planned everything. And it was awesome in some ways because if you were a participant in that, you did not have to think. You didn't have to think. You just show up. You don't think at all. Like
Yeah.
it was awesome, And like but I've learned over throughout the years that like the people that I ride with a lot, like they want that space. And for me as a person that plans stuff, that's been one of the challenges for me to overcome, like an
Mm,
internal challenge and like letting go of control and sharing the experience and all those things
yeah.
to just like allow like yes, we have nothing scheduled for this afternoon, and if
Yeah.
nothing happens, that's okay. And that
Yeah.
is so hard, that is so incredibly hard, because the moment nothing happens, I feel like a failure. Like I failed people. Like I didn't there was this time stamp of opportunity, this 45 minutes or whatever, hour, 2 hours that like happened, and like I didn't wasn't able to influence in a positive way. And then I have to realize that like be creating some of that space. I've given space for other people to influence each other. And I didn't put something on it, like they didn't ask for anything. And I maybe did like some light guiding. Like there are potential opportunities, but I tried to keep it light enough that it could be a yes or a no, and a no is okay. And and that was really hard for me to do. Um, but
Mhm.
the feedback's been really good. So that was a big challenge. Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Hmm.
What I'm struck by in listening to what Sia Mac and you, Josh, are saying, um, is how relevant the ability to move beyond structure is to our highest level of instructor certification, the level three. Um, I love plans and I love structure, but what sticks out to me in that time when I was training for the level three was that what I what I felt that I finally came to with your help, Josh, was yeah, you want that structure, you want that plan, you want to have progressions in your pocket, but what you need to be able to do is just talk to your the people you're working with and say, hey, what do you want out of this?
Yeah.
And you what you need to develop is that ability to move to, use that structure as home base, but move beyond it. And, I mean, to use the jargon, right? You need to be able to collaborate with them and you need to do that successfully. Um, and I think part of what's so cool about what you've offered me when I've been a paying client is that everybody on your team is level three or more, right? You have national team members and you have ed staff members. Um, and when I think about the level three, it's really that ability to start with structure, have that in your back pocket, but be able to like move beyond it to meet the
Yeah.
individual needs of the people that you're working with.
I gained
yeah.
that. Yeah. I totally gained that over since I become fully certified. I actually the day after I went back and I actually taught a lesson, and that lesson was I taught very differently. Like this load was off my shoulder that I have to like dun, 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 dun. I started, experimenting and using different words and doing those things that you just described. So I think we need to get to a certain and with my level ones and twos, I said you need the structure. When you talk MA, this is the structure I suggest. But then, once you can quickly analyze, see, talk, ask, hey, what do you want to achieve? Then you can just kind of like, you just do it. But you have to go through those phases of know nothing, know a little bit, know more. And then level three is, and they, it's such a cliche. That's just the beginning of learning, right? I think
Yeah,
we all agree
that's
with
very
that.
true.
Yeah.
And the structure is always there. Like I don't
Yeah.
abandon the structure.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. Like this is metaphorical, but I want to be able to move beyond the structure and the sort of the best times I've had with someone coaching me is when I know that they have that structure in their back pocket and they have all that knowledge in their back pocket, but they're able to attend to me and what I'm hoping to get out of it. And when it's time to throw the structure aside for a moment or change the structure, they're able to do
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a level of confidence though too that comes with that, right? So like if you haven't practiced like a bunch of different like this drill leads to this drill leads to this drill leads to this learning outcome or unpacking like I have this drill designed for this thing, right? So I'm going to teach you pivot slips because it's going to help you steer your board through bumps, right? Or I'm going to teach you how to do short radius open carves because it's going to lead you to, a 180 or whatever, right? Like if you didn't already have those connections developed through structure, you don't necessarily have the confidence to create something for someone, right?
Yes.
But if you have that, if you've done your homework, then now you understand where all those dots connect, the web of dots connect. And so it's really easy to then like see it as a web rather than a line
Yeah.
and see how the different connections happen, right? And it's so it's kind of it's a tough thing because you would love to like Craig, I'd love to tell you as a new coach, like go in, man, like create scary experiences you're gonna share with your kids. It's gonna be sick, and then don't even worry about the structure, dude. It's just gonna come to you, man. It's gonna be sick, and like, but, but those things are gonna come with experience. And
Yeah.
I guess when it comes to coaching your kids, like let me before I say anything else, will you tell me more about your job with those kids? Will you tell me more about your influence?
Oh, right now?
Yeah, right
Yeah.
now.
Um, well, it's so I shadowed our coach last year a little bit, just so I can get a sense for what this, is all about. For a number of years, other friends have been kind of pushing, like, you should go coach because the coach has been there for like over 10 years. Like, you should coach the high school. And I'm like, yeah. I'm always worried about how much time it's going to take. I got to worry about all that.
Yeah.
But I love snowboarding so much. I'm like, and I felt like I should be doing something, whether it's learning, getting certified and becoming, an instructor or whatever. I was like, okay, yeah, I should do this. And so when I decided, okay, I'm going to do it, actually, a friend of mine from Academy Snowboards, if you know Jeff Bond, he'd been talking me into it for a while, kind of getting me all hyped up. It's like, hey, you should do it. We can partner. We can put like workshops together and all this. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. I'm going to do it. But a teacher at the high school decided she went for it and she got the head coach, which I'm super stoked on. Her daughter and my son grew up together in preschool and or since they were young, so they kind of know each other. But anyways, so yeah, I'm coming at this from that point of view now as an assistant coach with her and her husband, um, trying to do whatever I can to help the kids because I'm just watching them. We had our first practice. Was it? Yeah. Let's see. What day was it? Sunday. What is today? Yeah, 2 days ago at Boreal. So we got to watch the kids hit a small course. And I've raced a few times, but I don't have like a background in racing really. Um, and I haven't, been certified as an instructor in any kind of way. I just have a sense for, just snowboarding for a long time. So I think what was your question exactly? I feel like I've gone off a little
No,
bit.
no,
I'm
no.
trying to
You
build
went
like the
exactly the direction I was
background on
wanting
it.
to go. I was trying to know like your
Okay.
your your role, and I think that it gave me enough, and I have maybe I don't know if this is going to help you. This is stuff you already know,
Well,
but
maybe
but
to your point, real quick,
yeah.
I kind of was like, okay, if she's the head coach, maybe my role this year is the hype man. I'm like the Flavor Flav, of this group because
Go ahead.
I'll get the kids pumped up, like get everybody positive, motivated, let's get everybody in a good energy. And then she's kind of like more like the on-site instructor, and her classroom is available for the kids, during the week to come in and tune their boards and stuff. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't have like step-by-step knowledge, but I've got the energy to put into it. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of perspective.
Yeah, C-Mac. Are you raising your hand? I don't know what
So,
you're doing
Craig, that remind
there.
Craig, this reminds me of how I got into coaching soccer.
Oh,
Um, my son was 6 years old. And, we put him into the local fun soccer league, and I would drop him off. And I'm a soccer player, but I kind of, just watched and stuff like that. And then the coach, I can't remember exactly, but I was asked. I guess they figured out that I know the rules and played as a kid, as an adult. So I became the assistant coach for the 7-year-olds. Right, my son was on the team, and the person that was running the team was a parent himself, and he was just really good with the kids. He went and read the book, before, and had some drills and stuff like that. And I watched him, so I learned from him how to communicate with the kids and how to be with the kids. And fast forward, I ended up coaching the like a more competitive team. My son was on it till about he was 14. So and I went another 2 or 3. So I watched somebody else that I have respect for. And after like a couple seasons, like by the time they were 9 or 10, he said, "Sim, like you take over." So I took over, and then I went and found another parent that wanted to help. English guy also knew about soccer. So what I'm saying is, this is your foray into this. It looks like the husband and wife could be a good example. And just learn, just absorb, and by the end of the season or whenever in a year, you'll know if this is something you want to continue doing and build. And you can build. Oh, and I went and got certified for. I forgot, it was like F was the lowest coaching certification. I went through
An
that, and
F.
then
You got an F.
I got an F. And then it was E, and I think I went to E plus. And I really wanted to go to C, because C, then you can go and like coach real amateurs and stuff like that, right? Or kind of professional ones. But then my son didn't want to play anymore, and I wanted to ski more. So I went into I like that coaching so much that I decided to become a ski coach. So just, you're
yeah.
a lot younger than me, so just kind of let it, like, I don't plan much. You can probably hear that, but if it works for me, and I'll just go with it.
That example sounds so familiar because kind of how you were able to get into it. And the head coach right now, her oldest is a senior and her youngest is a freshman.
Yeah.
So she's even said, like she'll probably be coaching while her kids are go through high school. And my oldest is in 8th grade and he's going to do the open division. So, and then my youngest is 4 years behind him. I'm like, if this
Yeah.
turns into something, I might be there for like, 8 to 10 years. I
Yeah.
don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But I do
I
want to
ended
get
up on the
certified.
board of directors. I was yeah, I really got deep into it. And it's the politics that killed the whole thing eventually.
Oh,
Like, but the coaching itself, soccer
yeah.
or whatever sport.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I encourage them to do other sports too, by the way. Just, there's these traveling teams, they, no skiing. I don't want you to break your leg. No, they need to be multi-sport kids. So,
And that was a
yeah.
question I was, selfishly thinking of earlier when we started the session here tonight was, that was a question I was going to ask you all is like, what should be my first step? So, where do I go to get my F, certification
Yeah.
as a first
Well, you're
time
on your
guy?
way.
Yeah.
You might decide next season you want to get your level one AASI,
Yeah.
or
or the
it must be.
USASA
Yeah.
100,
Yes.
USASA 100 would be, I think, the best path, or
Yes.
be a path for you. I think that like USASA 100 says you know what that is. I'm trying to remember what it is. United
United
States
States.
Oh,
Association, Snowboard Association, United States of America Snowboard Association. Yes, that one, USASA
that's
or
like the
USSA.
first level of
Yeah,
everything right there.
So
that
that's your
is.
F.
But it's
That's your
not.
F.
It's so they're not connected. So PSIA or AASI and USASA are not the same
Oh.
thing. Those are different. So USASA is a coaching cert, and AASI is an instructor cert. And AASI is
Oh.
designed to build up instructors who are going to work at ski areas, teaching group and private lessons. And then USASA is designed for coaches who are going to coach for a team, and they're going to continue to coach those kids through a year-long program, navigate the world with their parents and travel and everything else. And so they're very two different. This PS or AASI is designed to like have a really strong base framework, and they both they can work together because
Yeah.
AASI, like you have this, like I talked about connecting that web of stuff, right? Like AASI is real good at connecting that web of stuff because you've got to deliver value in a very short amount of time with somebody who's only going to see you again if you deliver the first time. Whereas like USASA is like you have an athlete you're going to develop over an entire season. You got a little bit more grace there, but you got a lot more moving parts when it comes to travel and safety potentially and navigating the relationship between you, the organization you work for, the competitive organization, the venue, and the parents, right? Like all those things, you got to navigate that relationships. And so like they're and it's also just one part of the Y model sometimes, right? Like so it can be pretty they're different, they work together. And it's really based on what you want. And I would say, like, from kind of what Tyra said and kind of what CMAX said when it comes to like structure versus non-structure, the one thing that I could say I would keep in mind for a new coach, the newest coach, is like when you start just exploring, like, let's just do this, guys, and you don't know why, like you're like, let's just jump up and down 15 times and see what happens down in a run. Like, ta-da. And you don't necessarily, maybe you don't know you're trying to do it and it's going to work or not work, and that's fine. But if you have a target, so if you have some sort of a measurable target for the kids, and maybe that measure isn't necessarily like, did you do this the fastest? But like last time you were comfortable around two people riding through the trees. And now I want to make it so you're comfortable around one person riding through the trees. And how do I measure comfortability? Well, I've got to put some scale and measure to that. So measure comfortability, like how many turns do you take before you stop? Last time you did this and you took like an average of, roughly 2 to 3 turns before you'd have to stop and like emotionally readdress yourself. And this next time you made 4 turns. And all those things, if you have a measurable target, regardless of what you're teaching, you're always going to be able to adapt and invent something towards a measurable target. And it kind of goes back to that Y model too. Like if you can have a lot of measurable targets, you can move that target around.
Yeah.
Then it's easier to like whatever you're inventing to give it some purpose, right? But like if if you can always have a measurable target, then the people that are learning from you are going to be able to see value in that experience. And you're going to be able to place value on that experience, which creates forward momentum, engagement, and keeps them wanting to learn. Right. And so, like, if there's any advice I have from you, you can be a hype man, but be a hype man with a measurable target. So when they're looking at you like, oh, yeah, you're doing great. Like, it's not just like, oh, that was sick, kid. Like, you're doing good. Like, you're doing good compared to this. Like this was you 10 minutes ago or yesterday or 3 days ago, and this is you now. And if you and it does, like I said, it doesn't have to be like you did your 360 and your 180 went to a 360. That's an easy target. Like if you can find the harder targets that are still measurable in that mix, you can really you can really be a hype man. You really can.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Shoot, I see you on the call, man. You haven't said a word. What's up?
Yeah, I here's the story. So I saw you posting these sessions in the WeChat group, and I always want to join. And but the 6 p.m. Tuesday, I was working or driving home, and today my company shut down, so I finally got time to join. So I
What?
joined to say what you guys are talking about.
Did they
Did your
shut
company
down
shut
for
down for
good or
good?
just for the holidays?
Just for the holiday, just for the
Oh, okay.
holiday, just for the holiday.
Good, good, good. No, today was super loose. So usually I come at these with a whole lot like worksheets and stuff like that, and we're gonna learn X, Y, and Z. And today was pretty open. So today's topic was all about like initially it started out with how we plan a session. But really we took it to anything. So it could be anything. And then Craig kind of started a new coaching role. And so we kind of went down that path a little bit to talk about Craig and maybe some things from our experience that we could share for a new coaching role. But right now I've got a little bit of time. We'll close it off in no longer than 9 minutes. But if there's any questions that you have for me about like how to plan a trip for yourself, maybe how progression sessions, how we build what we build and why we build it that way. Anything. Like I'm an open book, and so is Craig with his how many years have you been snowboarding, Craig? What, 40?
40, maybe 42. I don't know. I think it was 84 when I
Oh
started.
my gosh, you've been
Yeah.
snowboarding 42 years.
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I'm kind of old too, though. I'm like I'll be 54 here soon, so.
Oh my gosh. And CMAC, is there any continent you haven't snowboarded on?
Oh,
Antarctica. Have
yeah.
you been to Antarctica?
No, yeah, I haven't done Antarctica.
Wow.
Okay.
What else is there? There's
I think that's
Europe,
it. You've done
Asia,
Europe, Asia. Have you done
North
Africa?
and South America, and Oceania. Isn't that another one? Well, I've been to New Zealand. I don't know where that is.
But Siamak is skied everywhere, and Tyrus is also a wealth of knowledge. Has done big stuff. Not only taught philosophy at a very very high collegiate
Ah,
level, but has
awesome.
taken his philosophy to the art of snow as well. I'm not going to
Oh,
say any more for you, Tyrus. You can talk about yourself, but an incredible snowboarder. But we're all here for questions, man. Anything that we can do to help your life.
Um, yeah. One thing that bothered me recently is my wife. I kind of met my wife, get closer to her by teaching her snowboarding, and that's good. And we enjoyed snowboarding for several years, but recently my wife lose some motivation. Any suggestion how to remotivate her? I
Well,
think
let's
the
let's
main thing is
don't teach each other.
uh
Don't teach each other. Just go and have fun. Learn how to have fun and just go and ski. Don't criticize. Don't tell her what to do. She won't tell you. You have lunch together. If it's a run that you want to do, she doesn't want to do, fine. Meet down at the bottom. Just like it's hard.
um
It's hard. I had the same problem. It's really hard.
no. The thing is not we argue about something. Is not like she doesn't like me teach her. It's like she want to get taught, but I don't have the knowledge to teach her to progress more. I think our problem is we kind
Oh.
of stuck at some skill level, and we both live we live in barrier which goes to Tahoe is kind of not a pleasant experience. So uh so when the snow is good, the traffic is bad. When
yeah.
the traffic is good, snow is not good. So previously we like have progression. So we learn something. The learning will motivate us a lot to go to the mountain to snowboard. But since we stuck at some level, it's kind of the motivation, the excitement like a level goes down when we go snowboarding.
Mm, mm,
Um, and
So, so
like
I've got something for you there, right there. I know that there's more, but I want to hit what you said right there. So, a lot of that. So when you have this, especially when every time you like want to see your favorite place, but it's like it's not your favorite place anymore because you just keep stacking bad memories there of like a terrible drive, great snow and a terrible drive, or a great drive and terrible snow. And you front load your experience with this other experience that you don't want, then my suggestion is change your lens, right? Like change your lens. And so, um, progression's there, and like honestly, like skill progression, there's always going to be plateaus. And as long as you have a target, like I want to get better at this, at these things, and it's not a thing, but maybe these things, um, you're always going to be working towards them. If you just don't set that target so far away that the gap is so far from your existing skill that you can't feel momentum. You know what I mean? Like, so for instance, like if I had between the difference of a 180 and a 360, I'm not going to set like I'm only better when I can land a 360. I might say like I'm only better, like I feel better when I was able to pull my legs up in my 180, so that way I was tucked up, or I did it added now I added a grab to my 180. My big goal is still a 360, but I can measure and celebrate the progression in between. So that's skill progression, right? But when it comes to experience, like there's so many layers to it. There's community and there's experience too. And I would approach the other two things. And so instead of putting weight on like, am I becoming a better snowboarder? Go snowboard somewhere else. So take your car and go to Bear Valley. Go to Bear Valley. Go to Dodge Ridge. They're both just as close as they are to like is from the Bay Area to Tahoe. They're the same distance. The mountain's awesome. It's not as big. You're not going to experience the same sort of traffic, or if you are, you're not even going to care because you're going somewhere new. It's not going to matter. So like you can spend 3 hours driving to Dodge Ridge and you've never been there before, so it doesn't matter. Like it's
Oh,
gonna feel awesome. You're
yeah.
gonna see something new. And so the experience of seeing something new is gonna like it's gonna be invigorating. It's gonna feel fun, you know? And there's gonna be space there for you and your wife to tackle new challenges when it comes to lodging, when it comes to like finding where the cool restaurant is. Like that's stuff you get to do together and you're gonna remember that together. And so I would change where you're going. And then when it comes to skill things, like find some little wins to celebrate. Try to make your bar a measure really, really incremental and think about it in like so experience is one that's somewhere new, right? And then community is also another one. So we always think skill, think community too. Community is also a bar of measure. And if you connect with people you've never met before and you connect with them on snow, you've all of a sudden leveled up because your community got bigger. That's motivating.
Sounds
And
good.
how do we build skill? We either hire a coach or you go and ski with people that are better than you, and you are able to, if you're a visual learner, you kind of say, oh, okay, when he's going into the turn, he's doing this and that with his right foot and left foot, and just observe and just skiing or riding with people that you get along with, and they have skills that you don't have or you aspire to do. That's another way. Do you have friends that you could go ride with that are
Yeah, we do. I still have the passion, but it's kind of I need to motivate my wife to have
You know
the.
another one? I thought another one too. I thought another one. I'm sorry. I'm going to cut you off, but I thought another one. I don't want to lose it before we're too late. Another really, really cool location to take your wife if you want to drive somewhere, right? So these are all places you can drive. So out of the bigger ski areas that are in the or the central Sierras that you can drive to, my number one suggestion is Bear Valley.
You
oh
ready?
Bear Valley is awesome. It's awesome. The Grizzly chair there is everything that KT was like 20 years ago and isn't now. Like the Grizzly chair is incredible.
oh,
There's a community there that's like a ride or die community for that mountain. If you can like make some friends, they're gonna love you. The food's terrible. The food is absolutely god awful terrible out of the lodge, but you're gonna have fun. The lodge that's there, if you can stay at their like village, which isn't actually connected to the mountain in a weird way, but like if you can stay at their like village, it's these old weird rooms that are gonna feel smelly and strange, but they're gonna be an experience your wife are never gonna forget, and you're gonna love it. You're gonna love that you did it. But that's one place. Another place too, if you want to take the total heat off of skiing and snowboarding, you just want to like, because one of my favorite things about snowboarding or skiing is that my body and I get to experience beautiful places with people that I like, right? So I can go to the top of some beautiful mountain, look at something beautiful, and I'm not by myself. And like I have this thing on my feet that like put me there. I wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the fact I could ski or snowboard. Badger Pass in Yosemite is the tiniest mountain you will ever ride. It's got like two ski lifts and they're tiny. They're tiny. But if you make snowboarding a component, like just a small sliver of a bigger weekend out in the mountains that are beautiful, you might be able to connect your wife and yourself, but connect together to like, why do we do this? Like, why do we snowboard in the first place? Well, we make friends. That's a good one. But also, like, we get to experience beautiful mountains. And you put yourself in Badger Pass, you drive through Yosemite to get up to Badger Pass, and you take one run that's all of like 300 vertical feet. But you get up to the top of that lift, and like, you're like, yeah, this is why I snowboard, because I'm in this really, really, really beautiful place. And then you're with your wife, you're with somebody you love. Like,
Yeah, actually, we have been the Better Pass once, and then we do the exact thing you talk about.
Oh,
We we went there not for snowboarding. We were there for Yosemite, and
yeah.
we found that there's like a resort nearby, and we bring our board, and then we just do some runs
Was it an
there.
awesome day? Was it an incredible day? I just
Yeah, it
love
is good.
being
It's
on you.
really good.
Yeah. Another good one like that too is Lee Canyon out of Vegas. Lee Canyon out of
Uh-huh.
Vegas is another really, really good one like that, that like under promises and over delivers every time.
Ah,
You go
cool.
to Las
That
Vegas and you take your stuff with no intention to snowboard, and the mountain's amazing. Um,
does your wife enjoy generally being outside and hiking and all of that stuff, the stuff that you like to do,
yes, yes.
biking? Yeah.
She likes
Here's
that.
a I have one more crazy idea. If you were a skier, I would say, why don't you try snowboarding? Since you're a snowboarder, both are you both snowboarders?
Yeah, we both snowboarder.
Try skiing.
Yeah, that's a good thing, and I'm
I mean,
trying.
that's just yet another sport that you try, and you already have. I have to assume that you are pretty good at balancing while you're moving, right? So skiing gives you a challenge again. You have to pay attention. You should take at least a beginner lesson, a couple or so, get going. And it doesn't mean stop snowboarding, but kind of like get the excitement back.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
have,
what I'm
do you
I'm
have
doing
children?
right now, and I'm trying to also talk to my wife to do that.
she's like, no, man.
I mean, I am a lifelong skier, but I tried snowboarding, and it's all Josh's doing, and it was
Has
great.
anybody?
It was awesome because it showed me what it means to be a beginner again, and it kind of like it was like, yeah, this is what my students go through when they're scared.
That's like a
So
New Year's message, right? Like that's you're like hitting like New Year's, like, hey, it's about to be 2026. Why don't you try a new sport?
yeah. Yeah. Slice it up.
Snow
Um,
bike.
oh my gosh. I could go deep into snow biking and we're already 4 minutes over, but I had one question for anybody on the call. Has anybody, because I was thinking about beautiful places you could go, right? And I always think about this because they're places I want to take my wife and I want to do the same thing. I want to do that. And has anybody ever been to Shasta Snow Bowl? Anybody ever been there?
I've been wondering about that too. I just saw photos from someone who went there and it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to go there too. Maybe this group needs to go there.
We're all gonna go. Shu, we're gonna take your wife and you to
You know,
Shasta Snow Bowl.
I might be there
Yeah.
for a snowboard race at some point. I don't think we're there this year, but I've heard that the high school team does race there sometimes.
Oh
A
my
friend of
gosh.
mine,
If you go, I
Josh,
want photos.
Yeah.
Josh, remember Al Eggers?
Yeah.
He has a piece of property up there. In the wintertime, he goes when he checks on it, he goes skiing and he loves it there. He thinks it's really cool. It's slow lift, slow go. It's great. When there's snow, it's supposed to be really good.
Yeah.
And you're
Um,
close to Mount Shasta. It's like
You
a
know,
religious
there's a
experience to be close to that mountain. Yeah.
on even like a maybe smaller note, I've come across another place and just like searching the maps for ski areas. I've never been, but I think it's called like Cooper Mountain or somewhere like north of Truckee, like
No?
uh somewhere I don't know. It's like in California, but it's like further north than like Quincy. Maybe it's kind of near Lassen somewhere. I think it might have a tow rope or a one chairlift, but it's like a ski club out in the middle of nowhere. And
Yeah,
that'd
there
be a
is.
fun road trip.
Yeah, they have like an
Copper
annual
Vale.
thing
I think
yeah.
it's called Copper Vale. Yeah.
Copperville. Okay, okay. Because Ski Cooper is like north on Mount Hood, and
Oh,
yeah, and there's
Oh,
another Ski Cooper that's in like Colorado that's different, but
oh.
um, cool. Oh, I'm inspired.
yeah. Yeah. Look up Copper Vale. I think that's it. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyways, for fun, that's another off the path place to
And
go.
then another place I want to go to, not far from Shasta, is Asheville in Oregon. Is it Asheville?
Ashland,
Mount
Ashland.
Ashland, yeah.
Ashland. Yes, and it's
So
awesome.
I've never been. Have you been, Josh? It's ridiculous
Yeah,
terrain-wise, right? It's
yeah,
small,
yeah,
but
yeah.
there's like
No, I
amazing
never even
terrain.
rode lifts there. I went there. They had a freak storm over in October, and I went there in my youth, probably 20 years ago. I went there in my youth, and I hiked it 4 times. And so, like, I went and I spent the entire day hiking. They had a crazy storm in October, so everything was covered, and that's what I did. Had a girl that I was like madly in love with. She didn't care anything about me, and so she was living in Ashland, Oregon. And so I just went up and hiked it out for a day. Um, but that's enough. Guys, it is
707.
7. So I'm gonna let you all go and wish you a very, very happy new year. Thank you so much for being here. I think this is worth posting. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna title it, but thank you guys for your involvement. I think it'd be
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Five dudes. Call it five dudes. Five dudes. Something making
yeah,
shit up.
just dudes. 5 dudes. Okay. I love you all. I will see you next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Bye
All right,
all.
nice to
Happy
see
New
you.
Year.
Nice to see you. Bye, Tyrus.
Bye-bye.